Thank you all. Thank you to Nearmap and thank you to the organisers of NAVIG8 and our audience that's here today and the people joining us online. You're probably sitting there thinking, what on earth is some bald-headed lunatic from a traffic control company doing at a technology conference? And you're probably right to think that, right? What I'm going to do over the next 20 minutes is give you a bit of background and a bit of context about who Altus is, the journey we've been on, and the way that we are looking to try and create a generational change for the safety of road workers in this country through innovation and through technology. The Altus Group has been around for 20 years. We were founded in the back streets of Melbourne by our founder and one of his mates, who saw a bit of a gap in the market and thought it'd be a good idea to go out and buy a ute and start running around with a few stop-go bats. Over our 20-year journey, we have grown to be the largest supplier of traffic management in Australia. We employ about 3,000 staff, and I would say to you that there is not a person in this room that our business has not had an impact on. Each and every one of you would have encountered our business at some point in your lives. Our business plays a huge part in the bigger picture for our customers, for our communities, and most of all for the people that we employ. There is not a bridge in this country, there is not a tunnel, there is not a piece of asphalt that gets laid without us. If you're a first home buyer and you want to have your services hooked up to your house, that doesn't happen without us. The sexy world of traffic control impacts each and every person sitting in this room almost on a daily basis. We operate all over the country. We do jobs like Cross River Rail up in Queensland. We operate the Sydney Gateway project. So when you get into Sydney Airport and that huge nightmare that is unfolding in front of you that you're trying to navigate, that is my people trying to safely build that job and create that piece of infrastructure. Our business at its fundamental core is all about safety. It is the reason why we exist. And safety is a very, very interesting concept the more and more you think about it. And when you think about the industry that we operate in, it has not fundamentally changed for the last 20 years. We still get a couple of guys, throw them in a ute and send them out into what is one of the most dangerous work environments you will ever encounter. It is a work environment where the greatest risk that our people face every single day is something they can influence, but not fundamentally control. Hundreds of thousands and millions of vehicles pass through our work sites every single year. And all it takes is for one of them, for one split second, to be distracted, and it can cause a catastrophe. This is an industry that over the last decade has had numerous catastrophes. It is an industry where people die. In the last 2 years, 4 traffic controllers have lost their lives. 4 hard-working men and women got up, went to work, and did not go home to their families that day. And in almost every circumstance, they did nothing wrong. So for me, as the CEO of this fantastic organisation, what we do is we try and look through every single decision that we make through the lens of safety. And we try and look through every single decision that we make about how we can improve the safety of not only our people, but our clients and the community that traverse through our work sites every single day. We try and challenge the status quo all the time. We are a business that fails almost constantly because we're always trying to try new things and try new ways of operating. And the thing that drives us and the thing that motivates us above all else is this idea of zero. The idea that every single road worker in this country can go home safely to their families every single day. And in an industry that has not fundamentally changed in 20 years, the journey that we are embarking on is significant and is very, very difficult. When I go to bed at night, the last thing I do, is anyone nervous? Is I pick up my phone, I make sure it's not on silent, and I turn it up all the way. I then get that phone and I put it next to my head on the pillow. Myself and the management team, not only in my business, but across our entire industry, live in a chronic state of unease. Even as I stand here today, my phone could ring and someone could tell me that something horrible has happened to one of my people or someone else in this industry. This is the thing that drives us. This is the thing that is driving us to make some massive and significant investments in trying to change the way that this industry operates. And I'm going to give you a bit of detail about how it is, but we're going to get on with that. But in terms of Nearmap, this thing has been a part of our business for as long as I can remember. We've been Nearmap users before they introduced this beautiful thing called a paywall. Back in the day when you used to be able to use Nearmap for nothing. And to stand here today and see how this product has evolved and to see the insights that it is driving, it's truly remarkable. And it wasn't until I was invited to speak here today that I properly thought about the impact that Nearmap had had on our business. Because it's been that long that we've had it in the joint that you kind of forget. We attend thousands of sites every single day. Every single one of those needs a pretty little picture drawn. It needs a traffic plan that tells you where to put each and every device that goes out there. In the good old days, what we used to do is we used to have a troop of people driving around cities and all over the country in Hiluxes, looking at sites, taking photos, sending them back to planners, and they would sit there and try and draw them up and come up with the treatment. Since we've had Nearmap in the business, we have become infinitely more efficient. It has allowed our business to scale and allowed our business to grow to be what it is today. But I didn't quite realise until I properly sat and thought about it. Back a couple of years ago, as we were starting to think about how we might want to change this industry and how we might want to go about it, I have an absolute hatred for experts. Apologies to experts in the room. Because experts will come into your business and tell you how to do it the way that it's always been done. So what I like to think when I think about our business is that we employ unexperts. You don't go to university and get a degree in how to do traffic management, right? We have one of the most diverse ranges of backgrounds of people you would ever imagine. I have people from, long-term unemployed right through to I've got pilots that work for me, I've got lawyers, I've got ex-bank managers, all sorts of different backgrounds and perspectives that come inside of this joint and bring a whole bunch of different perspectives. And when we were starting to think about what the future of this thing might be, we went searching for unexperts. We went to a couple of kids at Monash University, a couple of grad students. One was a mechatronics engineer and the other one was a robotics engineer. And we brought them in and we let them have a bit of a look around and said to them, from an outsider's point of view, with an infinitely broader and better way of thinking about technology and all the rest of it, come in and tell us what the future of this industry looks like. And they ended up producing a white paper which sort of mapped out from their perspective, from totally unexpert background, what this thing could look like. And it is that document and that kind of initial thinking that maybe not all of it was valid and maybe not all of it works in the real world, but it started to get the synapses firing and started to get some people thinking about what it is that we could actually build here. I mentioned before that innovation in our sector has been pretty haphazard. Not a lot has changed. And what you find when people try and innovate, it's often supply chain led and it's not led by the operators. So people in the supply chain with all good intent and all good purpose will generate a new widget or a new device to fix a specific problem, with no thought really about the workflow and all the rest of it that goes into it, but they're fixing one specific issue. They'll build a traffic light to replace a stop bat or something like that. But I've been a part of this for most of my working life, and I've not seen anyone kind of take a broader step back and say, right, if you were redesigning this thing from the ground up today, what would it look like? And with the technologies that have come out over the last couple of years and some of the other solutions that exist, when you think about that, you truly have the opportunity to create a generational change for the safety of road workers. Truly. You have the opportunity to redefine the way in which this industry operates. You have the opportunity to take traffic management companies from old school 20th century businesses and turn them into digital businesses. You've seen it from Nearmap today, just the amount of data that you can collect from taking a photo, for goodness sake. Imagine what you can do if you start attaching that data to different sensors that are on sites. Some of the other technologies that exist out there in the real world today. And imagine what it is that you can do. We are looking to create over the next couple of years this concept of digital traffic management. And that's a crazy thing for a traffic controller from Blacktown to stand up in front of you and say, but we see this as the future. And we see with the platform that we've got and the opportunity that we've got and the emerging technologies that we've seen, that we have the opportunity to drive this change, not only in our own business, but across the entire industry. We invest incredibly heavily in the development of technology, often through third parties. We're not an R&D house, nor do I want to be. There are people sitting in this room that will work it out for me that are infinitely smarter than me or anyone I could employ. But we make some big investments into technology and trying to build our back end and build our platform out to allow this change to happen over the next couple of years. So what does the digitisation of a worksite look like? Again, not a tech guy. We searched the globe to try and find a base level technology that might be able to assist us. And we could only find one joint in the world. A mob out of the UK that have gone out and successfully done this in the UK traffic management space. An organisation called HRS. Now, we have partnered with them to bring their leading global technology into the Australian market. Downer, so Esther, who you just heard from before, is one of our largest customers. They are an organisation that have helped pilot 2 trials already, and this, ladies and gentlemen, is what the future of this industry looks like. We are going to go around and we are going to turn the thousands and thousands and thousands of dumb assets that we have and make them a little bit smarter. And we are going to do it by bringing this technology out here that's already tried and tested. I'm not starting from the ground up. We are going to bring it in here and we are going to start to transform the way in which you manage a work site. For my guys and girls and for my clients, split seconds are the difference between life and death. To be able to give a road worker an extra 3 seconds of notice that a vehicle that is hurtling towards them can save their lives. This product and this solution allows us to do that. It starts to turn the organisation and the industry from being one that is very reactive. We are a reactive industry at almost all levels. As I stand here in front of you today at 2:30 in the afternoon, I would not be able to tell you how many people I'm putting to work tonight, let alone tomorrow, let alone in 12 months. And the good people at Downer, God love them, they'll be on the phone in the next hour or so. It would probably ordinarily be Esther or someone, wouldn't it? Be ringing me up and saying, Ben, I need 15 people tonight. It's massively, massively reactive. But where it is super reactive is when something goes wrong. We have very, very little visibility about when an incident is about to occur. It is not until my phone rings at 2 o'clock in the morning that we know something has gone wrong. And this is the fundamental change that we want to make. We want to be able to see our thousands of work sites that are going on right now in a central spot and collect the data from those sites so that we can proactively manage the safety of not only our people, but of my customers and of the members of the public. And we are not doing this to solve one specific problem. We're not building one specific traffic light or radar or anything like that. We are going to bring a network of sensors that already exists and start to improve and digitize the way in which traffic control is managed. That's the first step. Off the back of that, and then why someone like Nearmap is so important to us, is the third-party data sets are the things that really, really energise this thing. I'm blown away, like I said, by the AI capability from taking a bloody photo. There's other companies out there that track things like kinematic data. Go away and Google that, because I had to, and I still have to Google it every now and then. Every vehicle that you buy now has a GPS sensor in it, a little device in it, right? And whether you know it or not, someone is watching the way that you drive. Someone is sitting there and recording how much you speed, how many hard braking events you have, how fast you go around corners. When your young son goes and takes a girl out and decides he wants to rip the handbrake because, you know, it's impressive to everybody, someone is tracking that. All anonymised, all in the cloud. All data that we can then overlay on top of the sensors and the worksite data that we are collecting to move this organisation and move this business to proactively managing the safety of people. Who would have thought this is what traffic control has to offer? And along the way, we will fail. We are a business that is built on failure. From the moment that we started, from the moment we tried to cross our first state border, for our sins, maybe not sins, but we had a great time operating a business in the US for 10 years. But for the first 3 or 4 years, it was just failure after failure after failure until we got the thing going and got the thing right. We are going to try new things, and we are going to operate a business where the people that work inside of it have the freedom to fail as they try new and innovative things. This is our high-level thinking about what the solution could be. It will change. I'll come back here in a year or 2 years' time and have something totally different I'll be talking about. But it's a journey that we're going on, and it's a journey that we want to take the entire industry on. And it won't happen without our customers. It won't happen without people like Esther and the people that are inside of Downer and Fulton Hogan and Ventia and governments as well. These large organisations that are massive users of our services that enable us to be a part of the bigger picture for the communities. I reckon traffic control is the most exciting industry in Australia. I might be slightly biased. But when we look at the opportunity that is presented in front of us to transform a 20th century business industry and drive it forward leaps and bounds and properly disrupt it, whilst along the way having a massive, massive impact on lives and livelihoods and communities, it's something you want to get bloody excited about. And the reason that Nearmap matters to us in this journey and as we go along is that all of this starts with their product. It starts when Esther sends me through those beautiful maps of all those little staging designs, gets handed to one of my traffic planners, and they go through and turn it into what it's going to look like on the night and in the real world, and overlay the digital solution over the top of it and create the digital twin. It's bloody exciting, right? It's bloody exciting. So again, I thank you very much for the opportunity to come here and speak to you today. hopefully the lunatic traffic controller from Blacktown got your synapses firing and got you thinking about what the future of this industry could be. So I thank you all very, very much, and I thank Nearmap for the opportunity to be here today. So enjoy your afternoon.